Hello, good afternoon. It is Monday the 23rd of October. Me and Jack here. It is the Everton Daily Live. As the title says, Craig Pawson strikes again for Everton. This is a fella, Jack, who in his very first Premier League match sent off Phil Jagielka for winning a tackle at Wolves when Everton were winning 1-0 and cruising. Brilliant challenge. Still one of the best challenges you'll ever see. 100% ball. And he sent him off and allowed Neves to move a ball 6 yards forward and put it in the top corner to level things up. And ever since then, he's been an absolute swunt to Everton.
I don't know how he was allowed to just keep reffing Premier Leagues regularly after that game anyway, to be honest. That was scandalous in itself, and another one that was forgotten about by the wider footballing world far too quickly because, like we were just saying before we come on, these things only get spoken about if the media speaks about them. And if it doesn't affect a very small percentage of clubs, the media loses interest very quickly, don't they?
And
this is what's going to happen with the derby at the weekend. You know, we'll make a noise about it. And yeah, they'll look at it on the silly little Ref Watch show on Sky and Mike Dean will go,
Has the Skeletons said anything about it today?
I'm not sure. Mike Dean said it should have been a sending off, I think, but I've not seen anything from Dermy, but it's one of them. After this week, there'll be no speaking about it, and eventually, you know, Everton fans will get bored of speaking about it because, you know, nothing's going to change, is it? It's like screaming at a wall. Nothing's going to change from it. You know, the only thing that changes is if, you know, the big media gets behind you and your calls for a replay aren't laughed at. You're not laughed out the room for them and the conversation's allowed to go on for weeks. Don't get me wrong, it should have. You know, the conversations around what happened to Liverpool against Tottenham should have gone on, but we should be having these conversations all the time. It happens all the time. Every takeaway from every weekend of Premier League football, there's at least one awful refereeing decision to really stick your teeth into, but it goes away.
It's grim, isn't it? Because, listen, I wouldn't sit here and go, based on the game, Everton deserved to win, because we didn't. I couldn't justify that to anybody. But what I would say is, up until Ashley Young's sending off, Everton had Liverpool comfortably boxed off. There was no, we've seen enough of them. You're at an age now where you've seen enough derbies and you know how they normally go. I don't know about you, Jack, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I was sat there thinking, and you never want to say it out because it normally, the gods go and go, what do you say? Because they're listening, the little bastards, aren't they? Can't wait. But I was sat there thinking, up until that, these have done nothing. And normally, and you know what? Up until the penalty, I had the same feeling. Normally at Anfield, it is like watching it through your hands sometimes, or you can feel the game like swinging in Liverpool's direction, and you're thinking, like, I remember going there with Lampard, and we got beat 2-0 in the end. But again, it was a bit similar to Saturday. Liverpool didn't score till about 20 minutes left.
That maybe. Gordon should have had a penalty. Well,
again, Everton were robbed that day as well. But that day, you could feel that Liverpool were putting pressure on, and we were riding it out. On Saturday, there was none of that. It was flat. Liverpool fans were quiet. There was nothing in the game. And you just think, if it would have been 11v11, or even at that stage, 10v10, I'm not convinced Everton lose that game. I'm not saying he would have won it, right? But I'm not convinced we lose because we weren't hanging on. There was no head of steam for Liverpool at all. They were shooting from 50, 45
with amazing, brilliant technique, by the way, and there's no way Pickford was getting to that one that flew 10 feet above his head.
I mean, Fletcher on BT Sport or TNT Sport, Adam Mayer, he was only shy of singing "You'll Never Walk Alone" through the game. He was embarrassing, wasn't he? But yeah, it was, I don't know.
Yeah, I do agree with you. You know, I'm always nervous watching a derby. You're going to be, it's natural, but there wasn't that feeling of, like, these
doom.
Yeah, these are playing far better than us. It's only a matter of time till the goal comes. These are, you know, passing us off the park, whatever. There was none of that. It was a dull game.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
First half, and it was only, you know, the sending off that really lifted it. You know, I think they had the McAllister chance. Was that the first half?
Wasn't a chance though, was it?
Yeah, and then there was a young sliding tackle and Onana's one as well to shut down chances. And other than that, and other than Calvert-Lewin's header in the first 20 seconds, very little actually happened. It was a scruffy game, and yeah, you're looking at it thinking, you know what, we're playing fine here. Not, you know, we're not making chances, so you can't say, oh, you know, we deserve to win.
No.
and that we had all the momentum, but we weren't playing poorly. Liverpool weren't showing that they were the far superior side in any of that first period.
They had the ball. I'd done a opposition thing with Paul last week from the Redmen, and he was saying, like, you know, how were you playing, all that. And I was like, listen, you will have all the ball because that's why we play. We like to play on the counter-attack. I said, so you're going to dominate the ball? I said, it wouldn't surprise me if, and I was thinking it was 11v11. I said, it'll probably be 70s, maybe, possession. I said, but that's fine because we'll just play on the break, which is fine again. And that was kind of how it was playing out. Don't forget, we had 2 or 3 opportunities in that first half where we had the ball on the edge of their box and play. The Corey twice could have slipped Calvert-Lewin in and Dwight McNeil in, and he just kept the ball, ran into bodies. James Garner nicked one and had three passes on and managed to find Virgil van Dijk when it was easier to find an Everton shirt. And we had those moments. Listen, Liverpool had them as well at the other end. I'm not saying they didn't have anything because they had the ball, but they had no real threat, did they?
No, like I'd say, it was a scruffy, even boring game. You know, you mentioned the Decore chances. I stopped noticing them with Decore, but I just expect it. If I see him with the ball at his feet, I don't expect him to pull off a smart pass. He's a decent player.
Even an average pass would have done, Jack.
But you don't expect that either, do you? He's a decent player, he's an important player, but that's just not in his locker. You're not going to get that from him. So that didn't even really get me out of my seat that much. You know, there was times when Harrison had the ball and he looked dangerous, but he was just far too isolated. Felt like every time
needed the full-back to go on the outside.
That's what I was thinking, watching it. I was thinking, you know, maybe, you know, if Patterson can come on at half-time, that obviously changes with the sending off, which we'll get into, I'm sure. But yeah, he could have used that overlap and run to take a man with him. Because he had 3 men on him. Every time he had the ball, he was identified as the danger man, and rightly so, because he is that one with a bit of pace, a bit of drive, 2-footed. He's the one to worry about. We didn't give them much else to worry about other than him. So, yeah, it was easy for them to shut down Harrison and shut down our attacks. Our main opportunities were set pieces, but they also seemed to be Liverpool's best opportunities as well. Because the way they were breaking from them was scary.
We won't go too deep into this because we're going to do it on the final word, and obviously we'll have Ped with us on the final word as well to go through that. But it's frustrating. My overriding thing was just come away thinking, I'm not, like, I wasn't angry because I've seen it too many times. I was frustrated because I just felt like the referee decided the game. And it's if you get beat, and I'm not talking about, if there's any Reds watching, I'm not talking about the penalty. It was a penalty for me. Whether Michael Keane meant it or was looking the other way in the ball, it's still a penalty. If your hand's
that far out, it's a pen, isn't it?
If his hands are here, then no. But his arm was here. I've got no complaints. It was a penalty. The way, I mean, I don't know what Jordan picked. What did Jordan Pickford's bottle say? Just fall onto your knees in the middle of the goal.
He was trying to go the other way and he's seen it switching, and it never looks good for the keeper.
No, didn't look good at all. Just looked like, I'd just rather he dived than he put it the other way. But anyway, not wasn't his fault. It's hard. Mo Salah from 12 yards. But, I mean, he couldn't do the Bournemouth pen, could he? Remember his Bournemouth pen last year when he nearly hit it out again? Yeah, that was never happening, was it? No. But I've got no issue with the pen. He's give it, but it just felt like the ref decided the game, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
Well, you know, the penalty was deserved, and, you know, their second goal was well taken, but, you know, it's the butterfly effect, isn't it? You go, okay, well, you can argue about Young sending off rightly or wrongly, whatever, but then, okay, if that's the standard for the game, then, you know, Simi cast as an argument for. I don't know if he'd keep making fouls had he been booked already. We don't know that. Craig Pawson didn't allow us to find out. Kanate absolutely should have been off. So when these decisions are made, okay, we've made errors and mistakes in this game that have led to goals, but the complexion of that game changes if it's refereed differently.
Of course,
because that 10 versus 10, it's a different game.
10v10 with, I think there was 23 minutes to go.
They weren't having that much luck anyway. You know, the ground's already quiet. It's going to make them worry if they go like
Liverpool.
Down.
Listen, Liverpool might still have gone on and won the game.
They might well have.
They might have done. They had a bit more attacking intent, but then who knows?
It should have been done on merit.
Well,
if
if you go and do that and they go on and then get the pen, you can't. No one can say. We'd be sat here going, you know what? They edged it or whatever, or Everton did well for a period with 10 men against 11, and Liverpool's quality, they've got more quality than us in the final third, 100% they have. So they might have gone on and won it. But the game wasn't playing out like that. And it even didn't play out like that. And they needed a penalty to score a goal. So, and the second goal's in the 95th minute when we're attacking. Now, okay, they caught us on the break. Well, I had no issue with that either. I know some people were like, I wish we'd have just... I've heard people going like, we should have just kept it. So I was like, why? We're getting beat 1-0, it's injury time. You may as well throw caution to the wind. And if that ball drops, then you look at that second goal. The ball drops between 3 Everton players. It could have ricocheted to one of them who has a shot, and it doesn't. It broke to the Liverpool player. And they, don't get me wrong, they played it really well and finished it really well. But I have no problem with that. Well, at least we were trying.
You'll accept it, won't you? You know, it was also pushing for an equaliser in the 95th minute, the 10 men.
All right, we could have been sat here going, we got beat 1-0 with a penalty. 1-0, 2-0. It's, you know, if that had been the first goal, then your argument's a little bit worse, isn't it? But it was an injury. I have no issue with that. Thought Everton was, you know, the way it was.
I'd rather they went for it and conceded at that point and just, you know, slumped back into defeat and just accepted the 1-0. You know, at least we were trying to make something happen, so you'll take it, won't you? But
it's happened, and we've seen it so many times. And it's a case now, isn't it, of bouncing back, isn't it? Now we've got a tough game at West Ham. They were beaten 4-1 by Villa yesterday, although when you look at like the stats of the game and that, it was quite even. Villa, obviously.
Villa were just very clinical.
Yeah.
Took a chance as well, but
so you
they're
look
still
at
a very good side. West Ham, it's a tough game for us.
But they're playing Thursday as well, and that is, I know David Moyes will make some changes, but it's still, that's an important competition for them, isn't it? So therefore, it'll be one of them, and then you'd have to, for Everton, it's at 1 o'clock as well. It's an early kick-off. We're going to have to go there. But I come out of the game thinking, well, you know what, the players kind of like stuck to what obviously was the game plan all week. Even 11v10. You know, playing 10 men at Anfield is tough. It's tough, and it took a penalty to break us down. I think the players, to me, showed that they're willing to stick to a game plan there. And it's about, me and Ped were talking last week, we were saying, I don't know whether you'd agree, but the times come where it's all about level of performance now. Results are fluctuating, but they've got to put a run together where it's a level of performance, because we've played teams, we should have beaten them, we haven't. We should be we know where we should be. We should still be in the top 10 on expected points. I know that's bollocks, because it's all about what you get, but the stats and everything point to Everton being in the top 10. They're not. So therefore, now we're going into a tougher period of games. Can we keep a level of performance? If Everton's performance levels drop low and we just get rolled over in these next few games, then the manager will be under pressure. Bournemouth are just about to sack their manager. That kind of stuff happens. However, if Everton play like they have done lately, and they did yesterday, they'll be fine, won't they? Yeah. Or you'd think they'd be fine anyway.
Well, we went to a tough place to go against the team that... Did they go top when they won?
They went top.
Or second level? Yeah, so they went top when they won. We 10 men. You know, it's a game where, had it been refereed appropriately, you're thinking we probably at least get a point here. So it's a decent performance. It's the standard set. It's the standard maintained from the last game as well against Bournemouth. And you're right about the expected points and the XG and everything like that. If the performance is consistent enough, all that'll come.
Yeah.
Because expected points and expected goals and expected everything is based off actual goals and actual points. And okay, what you do to need to get these goals. If you score high XG regularly enough, it should result in goals.
Yeah.
So if you get that level of consistency in your performance, that should come. It's just about maintaining that, because like you say, there have been games that we haven't shown up to this season. We've shown up at the weekend. We playing a great side. Not great on the day, but,
no, but they are a good, they're a top side.
And there was some very bad refereeing as well, and you know, we still managed to perform all right. Yeah. So, yeah, let's be angry by all means, but not get carried away towards the team.
Listen, it was what it was. It was always going to be a tough afternoon. And to be fair, we coped. I'll be honest, we coped far better than I was anticipating before the game. And therefore, that's given me... And I think the manager said a lot of stuff that was, you know, he was talking about it and he was like, we had them contained. And he did say, and he's right, we weren't good enough on the break. With the final ball wasn't good enough. And that's good, because that's what, for me, that's good. Everyone's got their own eyes, what they look at it or whatever. But I was like, yeah, you're right there, Mr. Deitch.
Not rested on his laurels.
I'm feeling exactly what you're feeling. We broke them. We broke the ball up. We broke and we got in good areas, and then it was a waste. The final ball was poor. Made the wrong decision. Whatever. And when you can see that, and the manager's repeating what you're seeing, you kind of go, right, okay, I see what you're trying to do. It's can we keep going forward with it? We're going to have to, regardless of Saturday and regardless of next Sunday, no matter what, we've got to get our home form strong, haven't we? If Everton perform at that intensity and at that able to follow the plan and stick with it, they'll be fine. They'll win more games than they'll lose, and therefore they'll be okay this season. And that's a building block then, isn't it?
Yeah, but because
got to do it.
I'll always maintain there is some quality in this squad. There's some good players. That nothing great, but Onana's a good player. He's put some really good run of games together recently. Onana and Harrison and Calvert-Lewin and Decore's got a goal on him. Two very good centre backs as well. A great goalkeeper. I'm probably bigging them up a little bit too much here, but there's enough ability in this team for a mid-table finish, isn't there?
Mate, I've said it. Me and John have said it lots of times. There's quality in this Everton side. People and some Evertonians go one way or the other. We'd have won on Saturday. You'd have had loads going, with this, with that, with the other, and with Europe beckons and all that. And to be honest, I hadn't seen too many going the other way this time, because I think everyone knows the referee either side of the game. But there is quality in this Everton side. What there isn't, although it's better now than it probably has been for a couple of seasons, is there's a little bit of depth as well. On Saturday, if you just look at the subs, like Patterson, I think Patterson should be playing for Everton, but each to their own. He come on as a sub. We brought on Beto, who's a handful. Okay, he needs a goal. You can tell he needs a goal, but he's there.
He's still...
Dan Juma, there's got something about him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. Is he top draw? No. But we're not going to get top draw.
He's a rattler. He's not necessarily reliable, but again, there's ability there. Beto, he really needs a goal. He needs his confidence. But I still think he's the best backup striker we've had in a number of years. I
mean, even his one where he beat a couple and hit it early. Okay, it's across the ball, but the idea was there, wasn't it? So... Onana tried it in the first half, then it was a good idea. He just got it. He just shanked it, didn't he? But it was worth a go. But yeah, there's enough quality in this team to be mid-table-ish. It's about the home form.
Yeah, just maintain the home form. Win your winnable home games. And that's something we haven't done so far this season. Hopefully that's turning around. Our last home game was a very good performance. Like you say, maintain that, build on that, just keep the level of performance consistent, because there's some poor teams in this league. We're
going to have to win a few that are dicey though, aren't we? That's probably what we're going to have to do. Brighton's one of them. Brighton look like they could beat anyone, but also they do give you opportunities. And Everton, I think it'll suit Everton playing them at Goodison, because we can play like a counter-attacking side. And they do leave. I watched them against City at the weekend, the second half, and actually they played, once they scored, we had City all over the place a little bit. City became dead nervous, because obviously at 2-0 they were wasting chances. They could have put the game to bed, but there was big gaps. What Brighton do really well is break quickly, and Everton will have to be wary of that. But Villa showed I know Villa have got quality, but Villa showed the other week against them. Villa stuck 6 past them.
We shown just a few months ago as well that it's possible, and that is a game we can approach like an away game, because they're going to come and happily have a lot of the ball and easily have at least 60% possession.
Easily, yeah.
And I think that's what benefited us against Bournemouth a bit as well, because their manager likes to have the ball and have a lot of the ball. He might not be there much longer, but we caught them at the right time, and that was another game where we could have less of the ball.
Did you see Wolves' winning goal on Saturday?
Wolves, who scored it?
Against Bournemouth. Saladja, whatever his name is.
Oh, no, it's Kalajic. I've not seen that one.
Okay. Just envisage what Bournemouth were doing at Goodison the other week, playing out from the back. Yeah, just give the ball away. And they just took it off and played them. He just tapped it in last minute. And you're like, yeah, that's why you don't win games, mate, because you emperor's new clothes. Having a manager that thinks, if we play it to our centre-back, sure, that means we're a good team. No, mate. you're not. Three teams in the league can do it. The rest just go back to defending properly.
They've got the idea, but they haven't actually got any of the little sub-phases and building blocks into constructing it.
It'll change soon. And manager will start having success with binning. They'll swerve, and then all of a sudden it'll be, we do. The light bulb goes on to every other coach. You know what I mean? Instead of going, let City play off in the back, we'll sit here, or whatever.
And then every coach who's ever had a cup of coffee with that manager who comes with the news that, he's a disciple.
That's it, yeah.
So-and-so, and he's got the same style.
It is nonsense, isn't it? I don't mind. Listen, when you've got top, amazing footballers, fine. That's good. Bring it. This is what you do, but
you can't force it.
Too many people go, we've tried to do it with Lampard, and we tried to do it with... I mean, I think Sean Dyche tried it a little bit early on and then just went, swerve this. Every now and again, roll it, but...
And
when you're giving
put together a really good move at the weekend as well. In the first half, a good little passing move. I think Decore got it on the turn. We moved it about quick. We drew them out with the press. We played a little bit. Didn't result in anything. Don't even think we got a shot off. But,
we got into the right area. Yeah.
You can do it when the opportunity's right. But
it should be mixed up, shouldn't it?
And, you look at Chelsea at the weekend when Sanchez is playing that ball, and Raya as well, when the one he plays, the Ben White, and don't do it when it's not on. No. Don't try and force it. It needs to be well coached into doing. You can't just
Declan Rice's goal.
Do it.
What was just on that? Why didn't Sanchez attempt to run towards his goal? He passes it and then kind of goes, oh, that might not get there. And then Rice nicks it, and then he goes, oh, he might, and then he starts to run. If he'd got himself back between the posts, Rice wouldn't have scored, and then Chelsea probably go on and win the game. It's only 15 minutes left or something.
It's like he's a little bit caught in between, should have go out to it, but then it keeps moving out, doesn't it? And it goes out into a bit of a wide area, and then he's just stuck in the mud.
But that's how quick a game can... By being sloppy, that's how quick a game can... And that Iriola could cost him his job.
Yeah, well, he's the heavy favourite to be the first manager sacked, I think.
They're looking at it, they've said Andy Bournemouth.
Yeah,
so.
There might have been a quiet words of Gary O'Neill after the game at the weekend.
Yeah.
Listen, mate, I know we sacked you, but we got on well, didn't we?
Gary O'Neill's just like that, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, this is awkward, isn't it? Having a cup of coffee. Awkward. Fair play to him. Rob Lewandowski on the super chat. Thanks, Rob. Says, how many pounds did the ref get from Liverpool? Well,
at least 5.
I think it's more of an instruction from other people, maybe. So says the skeleton said he should have gone. Well, fair play then. If I mean, I don't know what Gallagher. I mean, the result was there for them, so they can give us a pat on the head and go, they were unlucky. Should have been 10v10. That's the way it is, isn't it?
But the problem is, it's going to go away and not be spoken about. And I put this on Twitter as well. If the season ends and Liverpool are 2 points off top 4, the conversation will be, if only that game against Tottenham had been refereed differently. But they're going to have at least another 5 games like they had against us at the weekend, where they get every decision, they get every favour, and they're going to make more points off the referees than they'll lose from them.
No, absolutely. We knew. I mean,
it goes back to narrative, doesn't it?
The other week, once the Tottenham thing happened, you knew that they were going to get some favourable decisions they can get because of the fuss they caused.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I honestly don't. I don't even put it down to that. It happens every year. It happens every.
So what is it then? If it's not what is it then?
It's not something you can put. I think it's too easy to put it down to what happened to Spurs. This is something that's happened for years and years and years against Liverpool and Anfield, and against a lot of top sides, against when it's other sides, because there's no pressure on the managers, like Jack just said. On the referees, like Jack just says, it comes and it goes, and people forget about it and they worry about the bigger narrative, and they're not really asked. And to me, I think it shouldn't be put into that of just like, well, this is what was going to happen. This is what always happens, because football is fundamentally bent. And the problem with the game right now is, and it's not going to change anytime soon, is that the haves and the have-nots are so far apart from each other. Like, a Merseyside derby used to be played, like, I grew up in the 90s when Merseyside derbies we were crap and they were, like, good. They weren't amazing, but they were good. But they evened themselves out because there was that blood and thunder about them, and you could make tackles and you could even the game out, and you had the pitches weren't great, and You didn't have VAR. Well, all that's gone now. Everything's in the favour. And I'm not saying that's a terrible thing. That, like, you want good football, but everything's been evened out, hasn't it? Pitches are amazing. VAR. You've got top teams have got the greatest players, that we've got lesser players, we have to play a certain way. All you can ask for on the day is everything to be even.
Yeah.
That's all you can ask for. And that's what annoyed me so much about that decision was, like, you're not going to get every decision. Like, Liverpool fans will probably say, well, the should have been a penalty when Patterson made the tackle, right? Well, whether that's right or wrong, the point is on that, the ref made a decision, or the VAR made a decision, that it wasn't a penalty. What angers me so much about this one was that he gave a decision that it was a foul, and there was no consistency with the other yellow cards that he'd given, or hadn't even given, because he hadn't given Tsimikas a yellow card, which he should have. And Tsimikas, if he'd got that yellow card right there, would have changed his game. Because then he can't go running around kicking people or making that tackle.
And he conceded the most fouls on the day, Tsimikas. No booking.
So these decisions are really important. Like, there's nothing you can say. Like, people say, well, he shouldn't have, maybe he couldn't have given Ashley Young the first yellow. And yeah, I appreciate that. That's something in previous years that you wouldn't have got a yellow card for that. The referee would have just gone, no, it's a coming together, because if I give... And what he'd do is he'd almost give everybody a free one in the old derby. Like, not even, that's even more, that's recent, that. But now it's like your first foul, it's a yellow no matter what. And I just... Like, and again, Liverpool fans can say, well, Ashley Young booted the ball away because that could have been a second yellow. But again, I appreciate that. But as I said, what angers me is he did give a yellow, and he's broken the protocols of what is a yellow. You know, Tarkowski comes out afterwards and says, I was booked because I made a foul out of position. When did that become a thing? When did we have zones on the pitch? You have 11 players that can go anywhere. Well, the goalie can't. I mean, our goalie does sometimes. But you have players who can go wherever they want on the pitch, wherever they need it. He makes a foul, but basically all he does is run into him because the lad stops and he falls over him. Okay, is it a yellow? If it's a yellow, then their fella should have got sent off. Yeah. And if you're a club like you saying, then goes 10v10 then, and you're like, it's a different game. But as a club who is struggling, those decisions have got to be even. They've got to be. And this is it. And this is what makes a farce of VAR as well. That VAR can't, like, Dyche mentioned this after the game. Why can't VAR just go, that was a yellow, you know, you might need to change that. You might need to.
Why didn't the referee just give himself some
exactly
moment?
That's what Dyche said as well. Dyche said, Ashley Young at first, you thought he'd got away with it.
Yeah.
And then he took a step back, and then he...
Well, Trent Alexander-Arnold says to book him.
Which aren't you meant to be booked for these days as well, if you give all that to the ref,
But that's the point, isn't it? It's like and it will, it's a storm in a teacup. It'll go away. Spurs will play tonight, probably win, go top of the league, and everything
and
is changed. And then
the news cycle's different.
Before you get to next week, you got the Manchester derby, you've got Champions League games, you know, people will be commemorating the loss of Bobby Charlton, obviously, and focus will switch somewhere else. And
I think they'll be gone by today.
That's football. I understand that. I'm not that bothered, but I'm allowed to have me moan right now, and was allowed to have me moan on Saturday. The irony was, don't know about you, Baz, but I got loads of stick for being like, oh, well, it was different when it was us versus Spurs. I backed you. I actually was sitting live on shows backing you.
We all did.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, we actually all backed you over your stance over Spurs. I'm a little bit pissed off. I'm a bit pissed off.
You will never get Liverpool fans. Some will, but a lot of them, unless you say what they want to hear.
Yeah. I'm a little bit pissed off that our manager didn't come out afterwards and read the riot act, but that's not his style, so I appreciate that. He tries to keep that even keel. He tries that. It's almost like, instead of like, you know, he's trying to like, you know, kill them with kindness almost and have a laugh about it and trying to get the message over. So like going, listen, I'm quite calm here. That probably should have been a yellow card rather than being very angry about it. That's fine. But I wish as a football club we were a bit more angry about it.
Well, we should have come out and said he's never to referee an Everton game again. They go full noise on him.
That's what they got right though after the Tottenham thing. They made a storm about it and they kicked off. And you do want a little bit of that. We wouldn't get anything from it because it's Everton. We're not the money makers. But at least it'd be
highlighted though, wouldn't it?
And then it's another day of talking about it, and then maybe that makes a little bit of a difference, but it's just a mess. And the Ashley Young sending off, like you say, Ped, if that's a yellow and that's the standard, okay, you'll accept it, but that needs to be even across the board, because Simicast did the same exact foul 2 minutes later.
But the difference was when he made the foul is that the game played on. So again, it's circumstances. The game played on. Jack Harrison didn't actually get the foul for that. We played on. And it was only like when he looked. I mean, again, it's the way the ref games is mad. Like how can you? This is why people continually say referees that have never played the game do not have a clue. They do not have a clue about. Because Dyche actually said about Ashley Young's first one. He was like, the lad actually run into his leg. He hung the leg out and he's gone over it. And it's half a. I get that argument, but it's just. It's just like it never comes round. That's the thing for us. It never comes round. It never. And they can go, oh, it's just one of those things. Well, you weren't saying it was just one of those things when we never got the penalty against Man City, were you? You weren't saying it's just one of those things then, were you? The handball.
They were fuming.
Exactly.
They
you weren't saying it then, were you?
And them with, but it was. What's that?
That was a few weeks after we'd just been robbed at their place as well, and that was the Gordon one under Lampard, where we could have had a penalty.
That's 3 penalties, mate, and the one in each half.
And we didn't get that, but that could have potentially gave us 3 points, and the Man City one only actually cost us 1 point if we'd even converted the penalty. Yeah. So but it's another one of them, and I'm sure they got plenty of decisions that season as well, which they shouldn't have. But then, for a lot of them, the story around that season, because again, they missed out on the title by, 2 points, 1 point, was, if only that Rodri handball against the little
but that's what you do, though, wouldn't you? That's what they do.
It goes back to narrative, and, people forget things that aren't in the narrative. And you know what? Credit to them, because they keep their narrative up.
They don't stop.
They make their noise about it.
Yeah, the cry asses. They were like Saturday. I thought they were called Handball FC at one stage. Handball. Whenever the ball went in the box, it was embarrassing. But they don't give up with it. They don't let it up. They go, we were robbed, and we'll keep telling you we were robbed, and we'll keep bringing it up and keep bringing it up. And all our ones who we've got planted in newspapers will keep going. The journalists will keep. We're Everton. This should be gone. I'm surprised it's even. I'll be honest. I'm surprised the skeletons even looked at it. To be honest with you, I really am. I'm surprised that Sky have even brought it to the table, because normally they just go, who cares, Everton? Who gives a fuck? Liverpool won. We've got what we want. So the bigger clubs who will probably get into the Champions League and make everything great for us to keep it going. They've not asked about Everton, so I'm surprised it's even being looked at. They wouldn't
looked at it because it's the Merseyside derby. If it happens in Sheffield United versus
Forest or something,
they're not asked, are they?
Maybe both went for Forest then. Maybe both chose Forest then.
No, but they're not asked, though, are they? That's the point.
No.
This is what we keep saying about media bias. At half time, they didn't even mention the Simicast yellow card. They never, or non-yellow card. They never had. That's the point. They implant the narrative in your head. We spoke about this since the Rondon one a couple of years ago, since Brentford. Make a big deal of the Brentford penalty, and then they give 10 seconds to Roy Keane as they're coming back into the game to say, is it a penalty? And he goes, yeah, it's a penalty. And it's like, that's the narrative they create. They create any narrative. The media can create any, and we've seen this since Danny Murphy and the Nias dive. There's not we've said that since then. There was no other big games on the Saturday night. So match of the day, our game versus Palace was the big game. Big talking point was, and he asked me, does he dive? Yes, he dives. Something should be done. So by the time you get to the Monday and you had the panel, he's getting 2-match ban, which was huge for him at the time because he was flying.
He was scoring goals.
And again, is that media bias of how what story can we concoct this week and then run with? And that's to me not what it should be about. It should be that even thing where we're all looking at every decision because they cost.
Do you know what's mad, right? If that referee, like if you're Craig Pawson, right, really, like a normal, well-balanced human being, would have gone, I've sent Young off. I've got to send him off. And by sending him off, he'll have known, because
arrogance, isn't it?
People would have had to go with him at half-time, which we did, right? So he'll have known the easiest way to remove any criticism is send Konate off. And then he goes, mate,
I've refed it all to
you
the same
can go on
standards.
about Young all you want, whether I should have given him another go because it's a derby, whether I should have given him that's one more, mate, and you're gone. Right? If you want, I said this in my after-match reaction, if you're going to referee it by the letter of the law, Ashley Young should have gone. No problem. 2 fouls. You can debate all day whether the first one was a yellow card. Diaz throws himself against his leg and spins like he's been shot by a machine gunner, right? But Young puts the leg out, so fine. No, it's clever by Diaz, no problem. It's a yellow card. The second one's a yellow card. Diaz is away from him. In other derbies, like Ped said, he'd have dragged Young over and gone, one more, mate, and you're off. That's your final one. And then that gives the manager a chance then to do what Klopp did, which is get off before we're down to 10 men, right?
Which was actually though, that was the funniest thing, wasn't it? That was just the funniest thing to happen all day, because it just made the ref look like such a tit.
Yeah, because why is he taking the centre back off?
It was literally like kids' footy.
Yeah, it
was literally like kids' footy. You could use a favour, take him off before I send him off.
Yeah,
oh, it was so pathetic. And I just wish Sean Dyche had announced to take.
But that was where we were. So once he's done that with Young, Konate should have just been off you go. There'd be no critic. 0-0, 25 minutes left. If Liverpool then get the penalty, which was a penalty, I keep stressing, it was a penalty. Michael Keane's arm out, it was a penalty. We'd just be sat here going, oh, we've so
another moment of silliness.
We wouldn't have been able to really say anything, would we? We would have had no great Craig Pawson. We could have gone, why didn't he book him? But there would have been nothing with it. Ken Sprayer on the super chat, thanks Ken, says, I see the screaming skull. Gallagher had no recourse to Craig Pawson's appalling refereeing display. We will await the apology from Howard Webb, a complete incompetence.
I don't even think we'll get one.
No, of course we won't.
They gave us too many, no.
And Sim says on the super chat, thank you as well, says the praise for Salah after the game was confusing. Mo Salah, I singled him out in the build-up with Paul saying he's fantastic. I think he's amazing. Mo Salah's a footballer. On Saturday, Michalenko shut him down. He done nothing.
Yeah,
and the lads, he was the match winner. So let me just put that there. He got both the goals. But what I mean is for him, he was quiet, wasn't he?
Yeah, by his own standards. And look, if it's a 2-0 game and one player gets both goals, they're getting man of the match. And then he's being praised not just for that game, but if you say he shows up in big moments, in big games, and that you're not going to give the man of the match to a player on the losing team when they're 2-0 down and not made any chances. But yeah, maybe the actual individual praise for the game went a little bit over the top, because Michalenko had a really solid game against them.
Wouldn't it have been nice, because Ali McCoy's mentioned this in the commentary, wouldn't it have been nice for once, because for man of the match to go to someone from the losing side? Not saying they should have, but he actually said.
He said it, yeah.
He actually said, I was thinking of someone from the Everton team. Wouldn't it be nice to actually say, you know what, these have got beat today, but one of their players has worked extremely hard to stop Salah.
Well, that would give a man of the match thing value.
Yeah, it's an arbitrary thing, though, isn't it? It means nothing.
No, it means that you can give them an award in the bloody thing afterwards. Interview, isn't it?
In terms of how it actually works, it means nothing. It goes, who scored the winning goal? Unless you've played really well, if you've not been the highlight of that game, scoring 2 goals, scoring the winner, whatever, you're not getting it.
Yeah.
It's a meaningless thing in actual practice. In idea, it's a very good idea, and yeah, if it was employed properly, I'm sure players from losing teams would get it quite regularly. But
no.
There's been bigger tragedies over the weekend for us, hasn't there?
It's just frustrating because, like we said, it was an opportunity for him to level things up, not level it up, but to show that he was refereeing to a consistent level. And when you get 2 things that are exactly the same, that's your opportunity to go, listen, I'm refereeing it as I see it. And that is where Sean Dyche is right. It's where VAR should be saying, Craig, that's a yellow. It's a yellow. He's kicked out.
Because that can be done very quickly.
In his ear. And he goes, right, I'll give myself a few seconds, walk away, think like he seemed to be doing. I mean, would you put it past him that someone was in his ear to send Young off? Going, he's got to go, he's got to go.
The irony is, if that's a bad enough tackle that it should be a straight red and it's a first yellow, the VAR can send them to the screen, can't he? We've seen that before. So why can't the VAR send them to the screen to turn a yellow into a red. A non-yellow into a yellow that becomes a red. That's crazy. Yeah. That is absolutely crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Same outcome. Man leaves pitch.
Yeah.
I don't like, alleging corruption or bias, and that's it. It comes across petty, but in a situation like that, in a complete absence of consistency, and until we get VAR audio live as it happens, UEFA won't allow it, and I do think it's probably for this reason.
Of course, is because you can manage games.
I don't think we should give them that.
You can manage games.
Be 10 versus 10 then, won't it? It's saying Kovacic against Arsenal.
Yeah, it should have been off.
He weren't sent off because it's a big game. We don't want to affect the big game.
Which is nonsense, isn't it?
But he's broken the rules. Within the rules of the game, that should then result in a sending off.
Yeah, it's a disgrace.
But it's
King Hoddle
by too much.
King Hoddle says another way biased refs manage games is to dish out early yellows to one team, particularly midfielders. That can obviously adversely affect the team.
Yeah,
well, it can because your game changes, doesn't it? You go flying in. Geordie Tune for Life says no sending off because of the VAR decision at Spurs. Everton were done over. It's as simple as that. Yeah, and again, we still might have lost the game, but that was it wasn't even like, well, Ashley Young was different to what Konate did. It was the perfect opportunity for the referee to just go, I had to send him off because he done two, and I've got to send you off, mate. Off you go. And then we could have just sat here, and if we'd have lost, we'd have gone, I just can't believe that's the frustration. I can't get over the Tarkowski one. I can't believe a ref said to Tarkowski, "You're out of position. You're a footballer. You haven't got a position. The referee hasn't got a right." This is creeping in now.
No,
we've seen this with Heckenbottom.
A referee has not got the right to tell you what your position is. Tell John Stones what his position is. Tell any of them.
Hang on, tell Trent Alexander-Arnold, who was almost a number 10 at times, and when he's a right back.
Half of that Simicast's fouls were past the halfway line as well. He's pushing up the pitch. And it's stupid. These referees are so arrogant for what they are. For people who were bad at the jobs.
Said that after the game, didn't he?
Did he?
He said I can't say much, but he said something like when it's arrogance over intelligence.
Well, it is arrogance. Like, I mean, that one that said to Heckenbottom in the Tottenham Sheffield United game, tell your goalkeeper to kick it long.
What gives him the right to say that?
Who are you to tell us how to play some little clown on 150 grand a year plus expenses for pouncing around the pitch, having got a clue about what's going on in the game?
Sounds like Ned's job.
Ned would referee it better,
Ned
mate.
Would be amazing.
Absolutely.
Ned would be amazing.
I think you'd be a better ref. Hang on, Ned has just said he refereed the game, but he missed the sending off because someone told him his pants were on backwards.
Oh my God!
Was a kid on the floor crying.
No.
Called Kai, went, "Are you going to send him off?" And he went, "What happened?"
Oh my God!
Oh, full Chris Kamara.
Joe said, "Would have been nice to hear Jack Yelka moaning instead of just following the script."
I was thinking that as it happens, when you go, "Oh yeah, Ashley Young deserved sending off," I was thinking, "Jags, please say fair enough." But
that's a fella who's not on telly much and wants to be on telly.
Yeah,
that's as simple as that. He's playing by
the club.
He's playing by the rules, isn't he? Where it's like
we've had them for 2 games now, and we haven't won, so ban him.
That's where like Alan McCoyster's like he doesn't care. He can be on any channel he wants. It's like he will say it, and we'll get respect. And the irony is, people who do say get respect. But
I think if we came out and said that, I think not just Evertonians, but I think because everyone was in agreement over that, everyone was watching that game. It's the early kickoff. It's a big game. Yeah. Every footy fan watching that would have went, he's right there. I'm glad he said that because we don't normally hear that. Yeah. But it's not how punditry works. As a punditry works to
you have to follow
form the narrative that
you pass when you walk in. Right, let's race through these Premier comments before we finish. Gary Waters, hello. James says rumours flying around Friday, Saturday, our game against City's moving to Christmas Eve. Haven't heard that, James. Chris says, afternoon lads, take a positive from Saturday's fiasco. Dyche did choose the same lineup that whipped Bournemouth. Okay.
I'd still rather had Patterson.
I'd play Patterson over Young every day. Every day and twice on a Sunday.
I picked Patterson for the very reasons that he got sent.
Yeah, it was obviously the Young's. He was lucky against Bournemouth. stupid tackle early on got booked, so I'm just glad he can't play this weekend. He needs a break.
Let me just ask you this one question very quickly, and
Go
it's
on.
something we can expand on in the final word.
Yeah.
Do you think he changed the formation too quick, or do you think that was
At half time? Yeah. They nothing had changed. Wasn't like when he played for 8 minutes after or 9 minutes after he got sent off with the injury time. Nothing changed. We weren't under any more pressure. Took the wingers off. All it done was stop us being able to attack.
Didn't it?
That was it.
I'd have put Garner right back or brought Patterson on, and I wouldn't have gone 5 at the back. I understand why you did.
Yeah, look, it's not overly criticism, but I
think if you can avoid having Michael Keane on the pitch, you do it. Not to go too in on the lad, but if you don't have to have Keane on the pitch, don't.
Yeah, but he's got a blind spot with Keane. It's just the way it is. Adam says that you think we get used to these decisions going against us, but this one has wound me up even more than usual. It's been 48 hours and I'm still cursing Pawson. Well, it's because I'll tell you what, I got too many texts after it going, yeah, every year we get done, don't we? And that was people's thing. Every year, done it again. We've had it again, haven't we? It's a disgrace. That shouldn't even come into it, because we've had so many over the years that it's just embarrassing. Like last year, the one when
Virgil van Dijk on Onana.
On Onana, which was a straight red.
Van Dijk on James Rodriguez before Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, before straight in the back of him. We had at Anfield when Mane had Thingy in the arse, shoved him in, which is a red card.
Yeah.
Letting that was in the Golden Derby, the penalty one, but we got beat 2-0. Should have had 2 penalties and they should have had a red card. Nothing given. And all of this, you can just keep going back and you'll find a million of them.
Yeah, you will. But people are fed up, aren't they, Baz? Because nothing will ever change for us. No one's ever going to throw us a bone. No one's ever going to go, no pundit is going to stand up and go, this is a disgrace.
What happens, right, we get Leon Osman. We get Jagielka, we get these kind of people on telly, even Kevin Campbell. I love Kev, but they don't kick up a fuss about Everton. None of them. It might be like, well, whereas Liverpool ones go up, they can't wait. Danny Murphy's nearly crying. Graham Souness trying to kill people.
Graham Souness is retired.
No, but when he was on, but he used to kick up a fuss every week.
Of course he did.
Every week, United do it with Gary Neville or Roy Keane or whoever they have. You get these teams near the top. They're people who they've got will kick up and moan about it, and then you go, oh, hang on, what's he moaning for? And it makes you look at it differently. Whereas we just go, oh yeah, sorry, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I assume they're given more freedom to speak though, because
but if I was an ex-Everton player, I'd go, yeah, but are we going to talk about the fact that Simicast, or are we going to talk about how's Konate not been sent off, which has changed the results of this game? If Sky then turn around and go, we're not having you back on because you said that, you then go and talk to someone and go, oh yeah, I got asked not to go on Sky because I said something again. You make a story of it, then they go into their little corner. Let them do what you want. They're a bully.
Yeah, you are absolutely right, Baz, and they should be doing it, but it's like what we just said about Jagielka, innit? It's how he wants to be back on. He wants to make his career through this now, so it's too easy not to, and I don't want to call on anyone to potentially lose a big source of income by going against what their employers want, but it would be nice to see one of them stand up and
then they need to come out and say it, don't they?
Yeah, I've been blacklisted
because I spoke out against Liverpool or Man United or whoever it may be. Make a story of it and embarrass that company, embarrass them, and highlight it again. Else. But now, we will finish now. But I was like, someone asked me yesterday, my missus was there, and she was like, "Why don't you do something about?" I was like, "Do what?" Like Evertonians would never get behind a campaign because they'd just go, "Well, what's the point?" She was like, "Yeah, but," and I just said to her, "They're not even doing it sneakily anymore. It's in plain sight. If you actually step back and look at it, it's now becoming like the wrestling. It's like WrestleMania now, the Premier League. It's what it's like. It's all pre-scripted. You look at it and go that, and it can only. And Saturday for me, just put the cherry on the top of the script because they had 2 incidents exactly the same, and he chose what he was told to do. Mark Halsey said this 10 years ago. I was told when I go to Anfield and Old Trafford, give them penalties if they need it. If they need to get out of trouble, give them something, a big decision. Nothing's changed. Why would they change it? They want the teams near the top to stay near the top. Don't want, and forget about Everton. They will try and discredit the likes of West Ham. They won't want Villa making headroom. Might like it at the moment. They don't want Brighton doing it.
When Leicester won the league, the Premier League chief, Scudamore, was it? They'd come out and said, we don't want this happening every year, and I've got a plan to stop it. That's what he literally said.
Well, he come out and said with United, when United had finished outside the top 4, he said, this can't happen again. United got 15 penalties the following season. He said they're too big to be out the top 4. It affects us. So when you start stepping back and looking at how the finances come in and how they're doing it, and they're doing it from a business perspective, you can see how easy it is to just go, they're not getting any decisions. If you win, despite the decisions, then that's the way it is. And then they can sell the narrative of this big story. If Everton would have won with 10 men somehow on Saturday, they'd have been going, look at the unpredictability of this Premier League, 10-man Everton in a derby win. But the reality was we were never going to beat them with 10 men.
No, really? But the system they've got is perfect for them because, you know, they've got the top teams and there's enough of them that things can change a little bit. And there's the unpredictability. You know, you can lose 1 week and that, but there'll always be the establishment.
They won't like Newcastle at the moment.
The establishments will always be protected, and that's why we'll never hear VAR audio as live, because this will happen every
They
week.
won't want Newcastle. They might, last year was the story, but I bet you anything, right now, they don't want Newcastle being in that top 4 again.
It'd be quite nice if Chelsea could take their place, actually.
Because they're the thing. Newcastle will get up to that level because their fans buy things and follow it. But right now, they'll have their little plan. It won't involve Newcastle. It doesn't involve Brighton. It won't involve West Ham, Aston Villa. They don't want them anywhere near
it. If Brighton and Villa take Man United and Chelsea spaces, that's suddenly a lot less interest in the Premier League from regions of the world where big money comes in from, because you're getting so much, you know, sign-ups for TV and merchandise and everyone gets their cut. The Premier League could lose so much money. They don't want that. One season, maybe, at the unpredictability of the Premier League, anything can happen. Leicester 5,000 to 1. We don't want it again, no.
David Green says our manager should be shouting from the rooftops about that referee in disgrace, but we're too nice, and as you say, the media will batter away. Derek says it's now at the point where Ashley Young should no longer play over Patterson. He's in the game, not to be the wise veteran and making poor mistakes Well, it should. He's done it with Branthwaite, hasn't he? Branthwaite got in because Michael Keane was making mistakes. Branthwaite took the thing, so therefore he's got to double down on Patterson, in my opinion. Myers says anyone else just getting bored of the Prem. Watch Mainz v Bayern Saturday, end-to-end football. Turned over to Chelsea Arsenal, which is on the same time, and VAR strikes again. 5 minutes, the ref was at the monitor over a subjective handball. Then it became the talking point, not the football. Boring. Spot on, mate. Absolutely spot on. Kev says, afternoon, lads. Hope you're good. What's with Keane's hand doing in that position? Looked like he was waiting for the 437 bus. That lad needs to get a Balotelli t-shirt with "Why always me?" Keep up the good work. Pawson apparently refereed us in 2013. I apologise. Wrong info. Bloke's been doing us for a decade. We should genuinely take it as far as saying to the PGM, well, we won't have him referee. Absolutely we should, but we won't. James says if it was 10v10, do you sub Keane for a midfielder or keep it 5-3-1? Yeah, absolutely. Drag him off. Simon Taylor says, hi lads, guess Mr. Pawson won't be rocking up at Goodison anytime soon. Are you sure? Like 6 years, like Clattenburg. Thought we were good for a draw. They really struggled to break us down. Not forgetting the absolutely stunning long shots that went miles over. Yeah, but the commentator was loving. Skeleton said Young were definite bookings, but did say Konate should have been sent off, says Rob. Fair play.
And if that's the standard, that's fine.
It's fine, isn't it? We're not saying Ashley Young shouldn't have been booked, by the way. We're saying if you're doing it by every tackle's a booking, then Konate had to go, didn't he? Sai says, I wasn't angry with our performance, but very angry with the pathetic performance of the ref. I knew it was going to happen after their left-back hacked Harrison 4 times without a booking. The performance of these refs call the point of why bother supporting or going a match. Tazul says, if there was ever any evidence the game is corrupt, the derby was it, and nothing is getting done about it. Brian says, oh, the irony. I was close to sending in a video on referees last week covering the following rule book by the letter as opposed to interpretation and applying the rules to understand the play. Understanding the game is how it's played, lol. What do players what do players gain an advantage by fair means or not? How appropriate it would have been. Yeah. Phil Williams says, Deitch out. How can a fullback from the opposition be allowed to be so far forward and you try not to exploit it? Also, what the on our corners to let the other team break away so quickly and not fix the problem? I reckon he's getting an easy ride because of the disgusting referee taking centre stage. Joe says people aren't bothered. Anything that goes out. Hang on, people aren't bothered about us, I think he means. Anything that doesn't go our way, it's only Everton. But if something goes against us and directly affects a title challenger, then that's only when people are asked. Peter Finn says Ajax and Leon, talking about supporter reactions, of course. Alan, only times I can remember us getting away with any decisions in a derby was when Spaghetti Legs got done and Kevin Morales nearly kicked the racist. But both at Goodison. Jay Radcliffe says, my theory is the Premier League know we're not getting a points deduction, thus making it as hard as possible for us to accumulate points. I'm not joking, by the way. Yeah. Ped said Ali McCoy said he'd have given it to Decore if Salah didn't score too. I mean, how he chose Decore was unbelievable, to be fair, when there was others. But
and Bramthwaite's on the pitch,
Tarkovsky.
Great game.
Rob says there is no man at the match anymore, it's a player at the match. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing, isn't it?
Young is the new Fabian Delph, says Rob.
No, he plays.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've not seen him DM anyone on Instagram either in kick-off. No. Yeah, you'd ask for a picture.
Mark says, been watching a lot of the Rugby World Cup and the refs are class and the process is brilliant. The VAR team basically tells anything that the ref misses and he controls the game. And Anthony says, afternoon lads, seen quite a few reds, agreeing it was a second yellow card, but also seen a few delusional ones who says it wasn't because Van Dijk was covering, which is laughable. I also think it's hilarious they criticise us and other teams for setting up mean hard to beat, like we should just turn up and spread our legs and say, off you go and get done 5-0. They are clueless. The vast majority of them are classless too. Okay, there you go. Chris says Leicester winning the league changed it all. And that's when they started thingy.
It was going on even before that though, wasn't it? Like you just said about United and the penalties and that.
Yeah.
It's been around ever since the Premier League became a global mega company that makes billions, because then you've got to look at your interests then, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah. It is. Listen, it is. And you can I said this and people will go, stop talking conspiracies. Walter White says, get off the conspiracy. There's no conspiracies because it's just out there. Not even a conspiracy anymore. If you can't see it, fair play to you. That's up to you. We did absolutely nothing in the game. You're correct, because we had 10 men. Liverpool did nothing either. The manager's always too negative. The football is shocking. Well, he's our manager, isn't he? So you get behind him till he isn't our manager. That's the way. If you don't like the football, I'm not telling anyone to like the football he plays, by the way. I'm just saying, but right now he's the manager, isn't he? And they stuck to a plan which was working. Go back and watch the game. Liverpool had nothing. Like McAllister, 40-yard shot. They had Trent Alexander-Arnold, one from 35 yards. That went 10 foot over the bar, and Fletcher nearly fell off the commentary thing. You know, was having to wipe down his microphone after it, even though it went miles over. So that's the way it is. You don't think there's any kind of... it's not a conspiracy. If you don't think there's any bias, that's fine. That's up to you. That's good. I'm not telling you how to think. But there's a lot of people now who can see it. That's all we're saying. Right. We're done. We're going to go and do more than a game. And then we'll be doing the final word. If you're a Premier member, you can watch it live. See you later.